In this video, I'm going to tell you guys about an awesome trap that you can use in the Queen's Gambit opening. I use it with a lot of success myself. I don't see a lot of people talking about it. And the best part is you do not need to totally ruin your position and sacrifice like crazy just to make this trap happen. Your position will be totally fine if it doesn't happen, and there's a very good likelihood that it will. So let me show you exactly what it is. I'm going to start by first showing you the most common moves that are going to happen and what the trap looks like. And then I'll also talk about some variations that you're going to need to know if you need to play it. So it's in the Queen's Gambit Slav. We can see that right here. Knight f3 is going to be the next move. And black almost always responds with knight f6. Now, the whole point of the Slav right here is black does not want to play e6 before they get their bishop out. So black's trying to play bishop f5, bishop g4. You need to know that, all right? Just understand that's what's going through your opponent's head. They are even okay giving away the bishop for a knight because that's what the Slav is all about. It's about getting this piece out, playing e6, and being solid. So we played the tricky move, knight bd2. It looks like nothing. It definitely has some poison to it, as I'm about to show you, but we're not going to play the usual e3, knight c3, bishop g5, none of that. Knight d2. Now, at this point, black needs to get the piece out. So bishop g4, if that gets played, we respond very nicely with the move knight e5. And for the most part, black's not going to play this because it's not an actual pin, and we gain some time by jumping into the center and hitting the bishop. So black's probably going to play the most natural move, bishop f5. Hit the bishop with knight h4, okay? After you hit the bishop, your opponent is going to be like, well, I'm not going to go back here. Bishop g4 pins nothing and might just get harassed. This loses the bishop, and who knows what happens in the center. The most natural move that everyone plays is bishop g6. Now, after bishop g6, we play queen b3. Hit the b7 pawn, and your opponent is now going to be faced with an important decision. The Slav always answers queen b3 with queen b6. This is the whole reason you play c6. Yes, black could play queen c7 here, but queen b6 is by far the most natural. And here's the best part. Not only is this the most natural move, it's queen b6 and bishop g6 are two moves that black always plays in this opening, and they're bad because now we get the whole point of our opening, which is the trap, queen h3. This move is not expected by anybody. I have tons of success with this. Queen h3 makes use of the fact we did not push our e-pawn. We are threatening queen c8 check. Now, if black takes on d4 here, we're actually, queen c8 is checkmate. Now, right now, queen c8 is still a huge threat because the black queen would be forced to retreat, and then we could take on b7. So this threat is so significant that black needs to do something to stop it, knight d7. And now you're thinking, well, what was the point of all this? We just did all this to threaten a mate? Well, you're not looking at the other side of the board. While we're threatening over here, we're also threatening over here. After we take this bishop now, black cannot recapture h takes g6. And they probably won't even see this coming. And by the way, there's nothing they can do about it. Once they commit queen b6, queen h3, you've got them. So you take. They have to take back like this. And now, don't overextend yourself. Don't go crazy. Just play chess. Just play e3, guard this pawn again, support the d pawn, which was under attack. You've got your queen perfectly placed to jump in maybe queen e6. Black is going to be super weak no matter which side they choose to castle on here. And I mean, how do they even develop this bishop? It looks like there's nothing to do. So white is in a tremendous position. You can just castle normally if you want. The queen's probably coming to e6. This position has an insane win rate as well. So honestly, I don't know what more to say. This is above and beyond one of my favorite tactics, and it works super well. I'm just going to jump back briefly and discuss some of the other variations, but I promise you, I'm not leading you down this narrow path where you have to know everything, and if you mess it up, you lose. Trust me, if you don't get this exact thing, you're still going to have a good normal opening position. So from the top, we know that black wants to bring their piece out. We discussed bishop g4 not being any good, so you're going to see bishop there. Now, at this point, if black decides to bring the bishop back, I think you're almost never going to see that, but don't worry, just play e3, develop your bishop, and at some point bring your knight back. You're going to make your opponent waste some time, and you're going to have a good position as a result. Bishop g4 does not make a lot of sense because we can just harass the bishop like this, gain some space, and although we don't have this trick anymore, we have the move g5. You know, if black moves away, not only are we winning the bishop pair as usual, we're pressuring the center with queen b3, bishop g2, and if knight e4 happens, we can just take, and although black gets to take the way they want, this center pawn and these next moves are going to make it pretty hard to defend. So big advantage for white if black does that. So finally, maybe the best move, bishop e4. And again, don't stress if your opponent ends up playing these best moves. The likelihood is that they won't. This is not the most common move. Maybe at the master level, this move is most common, but trust me, even strong players, 2000 plus, are still blundering this exact sequence. So I assume that at the lower ratings, it will be even more lethal. So after this move, we're going to play queen b3, same idea. Black plays queen b6. Now it makes more sense. Of course, we do not have this, so do not make the mistake of going here. All right, queen h3 and then like f3 to try to get the same trick. I understand, but bishop c2 is really, really annoying. So do not make that mistake. Instead, just play it cool here. I like the move c5 because number one, if black takes, then we just take b4, maybe b5 as well. We can win the bishop pair, and knight b3 to a5 is a nice maneuver as well. So these positions are known to be, you know, around even maybe, but I think slightly better for white. And if black decides to keep the queen on the board, then just go ahead and take that bishop. Black's going to take back, and I love the move f3. It's weakening, but we have a really nice follow-up. e4, aggressive in the center. Yes, black can just play it chill and go like that, but we're gaining tons of space over here. We have the two bishops as well. And if black decides to take it, we launch an immediate attack and then just take back. Castle, we're happy to lose this pawn. We have the open f-file. We're maybe ready to sacrifice. We've got our bishop coming to f4 and our rook joining in the middle. White has a huge initiative here and is already in a much better position. So, in conclusion, this is a really successful opening trap because you're not compromising your position. Just remember in the beginning, do not push your e-pawn. That it's crucial that you have this third rank open. So you're going to go for knight bd2. You're going to play knight h4 to harass the bishop. And then most likely after bishop g6, queen b3 and queen h3, and you'll catch your opponents totally by surprise as well. Now, I'm also going to show you a little bit of the statistics in case you're curious, just to close off this video, because I'm not just making it up that people will fall for it. No, the statistics back it up as well. So take a look at this. All right, so we're just going to plug in our moves here. We're looking at the master game. So again, this is not even going to be representative of maybe your level. I think it's way more common, but let's just have a look at the moves here at the master level. So we have the Slav, knight f3, knight f6, and in this position, knight bd2. You can see here that, you know, it does get played a decent amount. It also has, coincidentally, one of the highest win rates for white, even at the master level, because it still has tons of games played. Now, a lot of that I'm thinking might be due to this trap. So knight bd2, bishop f5, best move, most common move, you're going to see bishop f5. All right, and then knight h4. So knight h4 gets played. And again, bishop to g6, this is at the master level, is getting played a very decent amount of the time. And look at that win rate for white. It's quite significant. And, you know, with a high draw rate as well, you're barely losing any games. So it has a really good track record. And like I said, most of your weaker opponents are going to play this move way more often. However, you know, there is bishop e4 and bishop e6 sprinkled in. Bishop e6, this move does not feel likely at all. I don't even think it's a great move. So bishop e4 is going to be the challenging one, but as you just saw in this video, I presented a few easy lines for you, and don't worry, you're not worse in any single one of them. So bishop g6 played, queen b3, and at this point, even at the master level, we still have pretty much a 50-50 between one of the worst moves in the position and then maybe a decent move, right? Queen c7 is not bad, but after queen c7, white still holds a really nice advantage, really easy position to play. And I mean, look at this win rate. White's barely losing any games after queen c7, and after queen b6 is winning 70% of the time. So We're absolutely crushing it here at the master level, and that's a really good indication that, if some of the stronger players in the world, 2,000 plus, 2,200 plus, 2,400 plus are falling for it, then it will probably work for you as well. And as I keep reiterating, you are not compromising anything in your position. So I hope this works out for you guys. Make sure to like the video, drop a comment down below if you have heard of this trap before or if you've seen it, because I just think no one's talking about this, but I've had some great success with it, and I hope that you guys can as well after watching this video. I'll see everybody in the next one.